Definitely are achievers. Today when you go back to your rooms, think what you have achieved. And I am 100% sure that you will find so many things to be happy about that you have achieved, right? And always keep reflecting about your achievements. Always keep reflecting about your strengths. Okay? And I am talking the same language again and again because all of you are definitely wonderful. All of you start focusing on your strengths. All of you start reflecting on your achievements. Start taking feedback from your friends, from your teachers, and discover yourselves. Because we all have to know ourselves first. The first step, right, even before taking any action, is self-awareness. We have to understand who we are. What is our strength? Okay? And I definitely wish, pray, and I definitely believe that all of you will have wonderful, wonderful lives ahead. You will be extremely successful in life. You will be very, very happy. You will make everybody proud, teachers, parents, friends. And we indeed, all of us are. I will again say we are super awesome. And as I say, I want you to repeat after me. Okay? We are super awesome.
Super awesome.
We are super awesome.
We are super awesome.
Absolutely. This is a super awesome school with amazing set of teachers, and what makes this school special is definitely budding minds like you. You are wonderful, and I wish you all the very best to excel you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Any questions? Do you have time for questions? Any questions, anything which you want to ask me? I may not be able to give you the best answer, but I will try.
Hi, ma'am. It was nice listening to you. It was a great talk. Thank you so much. Well, my question will be, when you said that we need not be competitive, but we need to be collaborative. But if we see the market trends, if we are not competitive, we don't come across the loopholes or the drawbacks of the products. And if we don't look at that, we won't get the USPs, for what we can accept. How do you say that without competition we can bring the best to the consumers? Because if collaboration is the key, it is the key, I'm saying, but in the market, if we collaborate, if say two bad producers collaborate, the consumers are going to get bad products. The competition brings excellence, isn't it? So how will we justify?
To an extent, yes, and it is good that the popular brands that we are using are competing with each other, and that is when the prices drop and we get the best of products, right? But in my experience, right, I think whenever we compete, we gain very short-term benefits. Okay, these are not long-term benefits that we get. It is more of here and now. Okay, for example, I will give you one example. Okay, so last year, I think it was last year, when the pandemic was just coming to an end, sort of. We suddenly, right, in the office, because we are all like those couch potatoes, sitting before the laptops, entire day working and all that, right? We thought that we are not taking care of fitness. Okay, we are not taking care of our fitness, so we should walk. Okay, so we and our team, we started a stepathon competition. Do you know what a stepathon is? So stepathon is where we measure the count of steps. So there is an application. We track the number of steps which each one of us are taking, and whoever has the highest number of steps in a particular period of time, say generally this runs for say 1 month. At the end of the month, whoever will have the highest number of steps will win. So because of that, right, with this competitive spirit, all of us started walking. Okay, And that 1 month, right, all of us were, clocking 10,000, 20,000 steps. And we were like, fitness fans, as if we are going to change the world sort of a thing. That spirit was there. But the moment that stepathon contest actually ended, maybe 7 days, some of us, Entu cutlets, we kind of stayed on course. But within the next 15 days, none of us were actually walking. And why I'm giving you this example, ma'am, because, again, see, at that point in time, this competition was definitely giving us benefits because we were walking and we were, getting those benefits. But it was very short term. It was extrinsic in nature. The motivation here was from outside. It was not something which was coming from inside. And that is why it was giving you only short-term gains. But if you want to do long-term things, it is about, how I kind of create better versions of myself. And in such cases, right, the motivation is essentially intrinsic in nature. Something which comes from within. What is the story which I told you? Whose story when I was giving example on competition? This was the first story. The story in which somebody was trying to excel. Traveler story, right, Advait. The traveler story. The tourist who was seeing a craftsman, that statue, defect on the nose, and all that, right? That he said that I will see that. So that is where, this is something which I say behavioral change, or a long-term benefit, which actually works. So while competition, to an extent, will give us a benefit, for example, I want to say, get the World Cup. So the entire team comes, they train, they practice, and they will compete against each other. What they are getting? Say the World Cup. Short term. But I think to get longer term benefits, and that is what we are talking to the students here. Life is long. Okay. We have a road ahead of us to cover. So we should think about the long term things, and that is where collaboration helps us more than competition. Hope I answered, ma'am. Any other question?
Yeah, one.
Yes.
Ma'am, my question to you is, as you told, competition, but what I'm asking is, if there's a long-term competition, if it's a long competition, basically competition, it'll improve, it'll make you improve, right? It'll improve what you are from a person or any other perspective. So ma'am, but you told competition, collaboration is better. But in a competition, you yourself will become better. So why collaboration is better? That's what my question is.
See, competition definitely, as I said, right, I was giving the same example, it will make you better. But again, it is a short term. The moment the competition ends, right, it is gone. And that is why, as I say, competition is good, but when the competition is with self, that I am at this level. Many people told, right, I was not in good so much in academics last year, but now I am better. So whom they are competing against? They are competing with themselves. The benchmark is their own performance last year and where they are, right? So always, our motive should always be to be the better version of ourselves. If I'm speaking like this today, tomorrow can I do a better session? Right? Tomorrow can I do a better session? And there are two ways, right? And generally when in competition, what happens, what we have seen, right? Many times we want to pull the other person to, down. This is unhealthy. Okay? And many times, right, in that spirit, we forget those fairness aspects, and we get, try to see, pull down the other person. Those feelings comes in us, right? The jealousy, hatred, with the person with whom we are competing. These are very natural human emotions. And that is why it is very important to inculcate the power of collaboration. I will again give one story. So another tourist, right? He was an American, not a tourist, he was a researcher. Okay, so he went to study the Aboriginal tribes of Africa. Okay, and he might have read about this story. So he went there and he was doing the research on those African tribes. So he said to a group of village kids that this is a bunch of fruits, basket of fruits which I am keeping here. Whoever runs first and gets that basket of fruits will get that entire basket. There's a very wonderful thing which he noticed. the entire group of students, they held each other's hands. They held each other's hands. Together they ran, and at the same time they reached the basket. And the researcher was completely amazed, and he had to give that entire basket of fruits to that group, and they shared it happily. So there was no competition that, it was not a competition of I versus you or a we versus a they, right? Which was, they won it together, and at the end they shared it together. And this is the culture, I think, which we want to create, and that is the value system which we want to develop in ourselves. Because we are all living in an ecosystem, we are all a part of this universe. If I win, my friend doesn't win. If I succeed, my friend doesn't succeed. It really doesn't make sense. We should always pull each other up. If somebody is going down, if dragging back, please pull that person up. Okay? Always help each other, always collaborate. Because together, when we are together, right, as I give the example of the relay race, we always can achieve more. We always can achieve more.
Hi ma'am. To support what you said, I have a very real life example, if I may take few minutes and
Please,
add to that.
Please, ma'am.
So in pandemic, my daughter was working from home, and a stepathon competition started in her office. And she used to wake up at 6, though she wakes up late, but she used to wake up 6, and she used to go and run for an hour and come back sweating and getting tired and tell me the numbers every day. That, look mama, today I did this and I have added this many steps to my team. But the other team won, and she was a little upset, and she said, I made so much effort and I have still lost it. I said, it doesn't matter. Tell me which team won. So she told me the other team won, and there was a boy in that team. He used to add maximum steps to that. So going by his nature, she told mama, he is not like that. He doesn't walk. He is kind of lazy. But I don't know, I'm surprised he has done this. So he said, no, then in that case, you must go and find out. So she became friendly with him, and she started talking to him, and then she tried to find out what he was doing that he could walk so much, though there was so much of, time constraint in her work. So one day, he opened up and he said, yeah, I was adding maximum steps, but you don't know the secret. So she was like, okay, what's the secret? You know what? I used to just go to this metro, get into the train and wear that watch, and that smart watch would measure all the moves in the metro. So that's how I used to add extra steps to my account. And then when she came to know, she came back and she told me that this is what happened. I said, so you know that you have actually won because you have cultivated this habit of walking and gymming, and I suppose your team is the winner. So she didn't go and share this with the company, but even today she doesn't start her day without 1 hour of gymming. So I'm thankful to the company that they cultivated this habit of gymming and walking in her, which is helping her a lot today. So,
Thank you so much.
So this was a competition, and a collaboration, but competition not in the right spirit has led to this kind of fascia. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You spoke of faith leading to courage and action, right? But what I find in this generation, I think they are finding it very difficult to develop this ability to have faith. It is the age of free information. Anything that they hear, anything that you say is always subject to scrutiny. It's always subject. There is one Google Baba always that they can cross-check also. So how does a person of this generation develop the ability to have faith? I think it came much easier to people of my generation. But this generation, they find it really difficult to have this thing called faith. How do we do it?
See, I think we are to an extent responsible for this. I think the other day, last June, I had visited the place of my spiritual master, it's in Deoghar. And my Acharya Dev's son, he was talking about it, saying that the very fact that you people are sitting here listening to this talk, okay, or talking about these good things, means that somebody has invested time in you. Be it your teachers, be it your parents. Somebody has imbibed those thoughts in your mind, or given you that time, that now today you are in this position, that you are thinking in a particular line. The problem with us, it is not problem with them. The problem with us is that we are not giving that time. Maybe we ourselves do not have faith. My Gurudev says, and again, I'm bringing those examples from the teachings of my spiritual master. He said that if teachers do not have the attachment to an ideal, if teachers do not have faith, how can they inspire the hearts of students towards faith? Right? So teachers, students, obviously you all are also responsible, but I think the responsibility is more on us as parents, teachers, to demonstrate. Our kids learn what we show to them. If we have faith, we are attached to a living ideal. If we are, being sincere, honest, all the values, whatever it is, right? If we ourselves are demonstrating the same, kids definitely are going to follow. But unfortunately, we do not demonstrate. We are lacking faith, and that is why we are not able to inculcate the same in our kids. And kids, right, especially that this age, and I would say, say students of class 5 and below, these are the times when neurons are getting formed in the brains. Okay, and we say that, however we want to mold them, people, obviously external motivators will be there, right? It will be there, but the greatest learning place, obviously, is the home and obviously the school, where we have students, parents. The qualities which we demonstrate definitely will come to our students. First, we have to see in ourselves how we are conducting ourselves. That is my experience. Out of my experience, I'm saying I may be wrong. I'm sure you have other examples to say, but that is my experience and belief. That first of all, we have to look in ourselves, and if we are, attached to a living ideal, we definitely will go and inspire our kids. We should try and find a one. We should find a one. I think living ideal, and I was so inspired to see the talk with Swamiji, a student of this very lovely institution. Okay, he talked about his spiritual master so proudly that my highest love is my spiritual master, right? And it's a human psychology, right? I have forgotten that name of that psychologist who said that human beings will inculcate habits, behaviors only when they are inspired by another human being whom they think is superior. It's a psychology. Maybe I will pass on that snippet of psychology to Shubhajit sir, who can pass it back to you. So it is very important for us, and there are so many spiritual masters in this country. It is important for us to assess, discuss, reflect, and find out the right spiritual master. And my spiritual master, in fact, I was talking in office about it some time back. She was saying that there are so many gurus. How to find the real one, how to find the authentic one. So my Gurudev says that the first test is that you have to find out the attachment of that guru to his guru. How much respect, how much love, how much attachment that person has to his guru. That is a test whether he is a real master. But it is important. I believe that we in this country are very, very blessed to have, in all the parts of the country, have great, amazing spiritual masters. And always remember, there is, and my father always says, geniuses of all ages speak in different languages, but in all of them burn the same flame. So all the spiritual masters, all the prophets, all the great men who have come to this earth, right, you might see that they are, speaking in different ways. But if you try to understand the essence, you will see that they are talking about the same thing. They are talking about faith. They are talking about attachment. They are talking about honesty. They are talking about action. Right? Same thing they are, talking about. But it is important that we find one and we attach ourselves to a living ideal. See, God is fine. God is in the sky. We have not seen God. Right? But we believe our parents, right? Why we believe our parents? Because we speak to them every day. They're taking care of us. We are seeing them live before us. We are having examples from their side. So we have faith in our parents, right? But God, though we have not seen, how do we believe? That is why it is important to have a guru who is a living person and living ideal, who can guide us towards life. And why is a guru important? See, if somebody is weak, go to maths tuition. Swimming, somebody is unable to do, go for swimming coaches. But it is our life. So for life, we definitely need somebody who is there to guide us, who is there to show us the path. And that is what my belief, my experience, whatever I have learned. I'm not a very knowledgeable person, but whatever I have gained in this so many years, whatever I have learned from my parents, my teachers, and my guru, that is what I am sharing with you today. Sir, would you like to add anything? He has a question.
I'm sorry to keep dragging this topic, ma'am, about competition and collaboration.
Oh my God.
But would you not say that if collaboration instead of competition on a large scale is executed, then the provision of funds and such for, let's say, medicine would lead to complacence, as the competitive spirit and let's say the survival of the fittest spirit won't survive in them.
See, competition, as I said, right, for something, a healthy competition will work. Okay, but I was more talking about our own behavioral changes. Okay, what we want to become. But in terms of, some of this, it might work when it leading to a short-term result, as I told you, right? It might work, obviously healthy competition. But see, what is happening, why we are so much fans of competition? Because we are learning it in our school, from our parents. Parents will say, hey, this person, you should get the best mark, you should come first in the class. I was like that, I am telling you. Till last, from the last 4 to 5 years, I have had a very significant change in my life. But before that, when I used to go down to God, automatically you would laugh at me, but it is true. The immediate prayer which used to come in my mind is I should be first in the class. Because I have prayed so many times that it has become like a habit that I have to be first in the class. It became a habit for me. Whenever I go down, automatically it comes, God, I should be the first in the class. I was working that time, still. But was it the right way? No. Now when I look back, right, I see my entire class, all of them are very, very successful. Somebody is a great musician. Okay, somebody has opened an NGO. I feel so proud of that friend of mine. He's impacting so many lives. Somebody is, holding a huge position in a corporate industry. Somebody is a teacher, inspiring so many lives. And people are so happy. People are so, feeling wonderful about their lives. Everybody, because we are connected, right, on Facebook. When I go to my home place or even other places, we meet our friends. Everybody is doing well. Then why were we all competing like this, as if there is no end? Okay, and school system, right? We many times we promote competition. So home, even between siblings, right? Parents will sometimes tell, okay, learn from your, see how your elder brother is doing. You have heard those statements, right? But if we try to inculcate the values of collaboration in our school system, in our family systems, okay, I think it will change a lot of it. Group projects, rewarding behaviors, okay, which promote collaboration, which are collaborative in nature. I think will go and help us to a large extent. I think, he was raising it first. Please pass on the mic.
Ma'am, so as you spoke about faith, thoughts, etc., my question is how to master our thoughts and stay focused, because our thoughts are described our actions.
That is the toughest thing to do. I will tell you, even I also struggled. But I think the best way to keep our thoughts in check is meditation is definitely one of the ways. Okay, and it doesn't come. Even now, see, I struggle. Okay, well, I have been practicing it for quite some time. Sometimes when I sit, right, so many thoughts keep on coming in the mind. Okay, but practice. practice sitting alone, practice meditation. It definitely, and then through practice you will achieve a stage wherein you will see that you are able to master your thoughts. Okay, and many times, and not only thoughts, many of our emotions. So I'm a person, right, who used to get very angry, right? I was very, very short-tempered. Okay, anything you tell, immediately, which I don't like, immediately I would get angry. Okay, but I think over the years, through practice, whatever spiritual practices I do, through following the advice of my Gurudev, I have found that I've somehow, to an extent, not fully, to an extent, I have been able to master my short temper. Now, even when my husband sometimes will say something to me, I will not hit back. I will just stay very, very calm. So ultimately there will be no fight. Even with my daughter, right? She will sometimes do many things. When she will spill, I'll be in the midst of so much of work, so much of stress. I would say she would have spilled milk in the floor. Earlier, maybe in my earlier state, I would have bitten her. But now, though, I don't at all. And obviously, which helps in the right environment at home, right? Which helps her, which helps me. So this is how I think following the advice of a guru, following certain strict, disciplined spiritual practices, we are able to master some of our emotions and thoughts, right? And that is why, right? See, we have learned it later in our lives, and we are speaking to you now in such a beautiful stage of yours. When you should start thinking about all this, okay? And the results will be really magical and amazing.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. What all we gain from you is on one side, but my voice is a little bad today. That is on one side, but definitely you got to learn about one thing in particular about our students, that all of these are bundle of energies.
Absolutely.
And thinking human beings.
Absolutely.
That is what they are, and you have put a spark once again.
I feel not like that. I was not like, I very confidently say that. Whenever any external speaker used to come and talk to us, we'll be like, we'll ask us question, we'll be like, this is very, even in corporate, I'm telling you, we have a lot of people connects, right? And I'm in the field of HR, so I go for a lot of people connects. Whenever we ask them to tell a question or give a response, everybody will be silent. But you people are very, very different. Your teachers, your parents should be so very proud of you. You should be very proud of yourselves. You are definitely, as Sir told, you are bundles of energies, and you will have an amazing life ahead.
And I think our both expressions happiness the answer given to his questions. And now I can request him to propose a formal vote of thanks.
After that illustrious talk, a heartfelt vote of thanks is certainly in order. On behalf of our academy, I would like to convey our immense appreciation and gratitude to Ms.Tanaya Choudhury for having taken out time from her busy schedule and visited us today to enlighten us about achieving the zenith of our potential. My gratitude extends to our principal, Mr. Shantanu Das, our CFO, Mrs. Vani Pratap, and Mr. Siddhi Mukherjee for arranging this illuminating session. I would also like to thank Mr. Bhatnagar, Mr. Shiv Kumar, Mr. Senthil Kumar, Mr. Nagesh, Mr. Anand, and last but not the least, all the support staff who worked namelessly behind the scenes and ensured a smooth and punctual execution of this event. Another round of applause is in order for all the diligent background work that Ms. Choudhury and our support staff have put in. I request everyone to be seated as the guest leaves.